Is there a framework? Is there a step-by-step process? Is there something practically and really strategically we can do to virtually guarantee success in any endeavor? The reality is, yeah.
Scoggins is a best-selling author.
He challenges people to break through their obstacles, coming from a broken home, years of struggle,
to launching what would become a multi-million-dollar construction company.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Scoggins in the house.
You know, one of the things that I get all the time from a lot of folks that I work with and a lot of folks I've been helping out is this concept of overcomplication. And they come to me and they say, well, how did you go from homelessness to running a business? How did you go from being single to being happily married? How did you go from being someone who didn't have children of your own to raising children that aren't biologically yours? Like, there's a whole host of different things or steps along the way that, well, that kind of like lay out the groundwork for becoming successful in any area of your life, or in all areas of your life for that matter. The problem is many of us like to overcomplicate things. We like to think that we have to have all things figured out, that we have to have all of our bases covered, and somehow we can mitigate or eliminate risk entirely. The reality is that's just not reality. The reality is that we're going to face adversity. We're going to face environments that forces us to grow. We're going to face environments that we get to just celebrate and have a great time. But at the end of the day, is there a framework? Is there a step-by-step process? Is there something practically and really strategically we can do to virtually guarantee success in any endeavor? The reality is, yeah, there's a few things we can do to lay the groundwork and to kind of get ourselves going and to really understand what it's going to take to win. But the real question is even if you had the framework, would you use it? So step number one is actually going to be this: getting clear. One of the most undervalued assets in building a business, a meaningful life, an amazing relationship, a healthy financial position is the ability to get clear. Most people that I've seen, roughly 70% of the population, aren't being successful because they aren't getting clear. They don't know what they want, they don't know why they want it, and they don't know what's at stake if they don't actually go after it. The reality is you've got to understand a lot more about yourself through this lens of self-awareness and self-regulation and emotional intelligence. All of these are key aspects into understanding yourself better so you can get clear on what it is you want. And that same 70% that I mentioned before, many of that same 70% would also tell you they're living someone else's life. And I know that's something you probably heard me say before here on the channel, but the reality is that's where the frustration is. That's where the depression is. That's where the anxiety is. That's where the fear is. That's where the being overly introverted, meaning that you don't want to be around anyone under any circumstances is. That's where being overly extroverted is, right? Is somehow feeling like you have to fabricate your significance. With clarity comes consistency, and with consistency comes power. Why not make power work for you rather than the world's power working against you? Okay? Let's go on to the next step. And again, these are super simple and they're designed to be that way. Step number 2, start early. What I mean by start early is, number 1, start as early as you can in life about getting yourself going on understanding who you are, why you're here, and what to do about it. Understand that you have to get up earlier. It's better to get up earlier. Your brain will acclimate quicker so you can do some core practices that will be pivotal to your ultimate transformation and ultimate, unstoppability, so to speak. What I mean by that is when you get up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning and you can dedicate 20 or 30 minutes to prayer, meditation, some form of internal reflection in a state of gratitude, in a state of hopefulness, in a state of looking at your potential, or even tying your emotion to the visualization in that moment, essentially what you do is you wake up your mind and your heart and your soul towards the thing you're going after, all right? Also, by getting up early, you start up your day before you start getting all the distractions, because the vast majority of the world does not get up early. Most of us don't get up that early. In fact, we do the opposite. We go to bed as late as possible, and we wake up as late as possible. As a result, we miss an amazing time of when we can actually have our brain firing on our behalf, when we don't have distractions, we can be feeling the gratitude and all that kind of stuff. You also have an opportunity to put your health in check. Go out for a brisk walk, maybe a jog, maybe hit the gym. As you get your blood pumping consistently, what happens is you actually awaken other parts of your brain, and they start to light up like a Christmas tree. And as a result, your cognitive ability increases continually. That's why waking up early can give you so much power in your day. You're not as distracted. You're in a spirit of gratitude. You're in a healthy state of awareness. And you're also in a healthy state of visualizing the actual emotional tie to the very thing that you're after. And when you can do this continually, consistently, on a continual basis, inevitably you begin to build momentum. And as a result, you get to start living in your future now. All right, moving on to number 3. Number 3. Now, we talked about some of this stuff before, but I'm trying to lay it out in a 7-step framework here. So here's number 3. Create momentum through multiplication. Create momentum through multiplication. What can you do today to do an effort once, but to give you a 3-phase outcome? For example, if I want to grow my business, then the number one thing I need to do that day is to do the things that set up 3 other things to win. Now, as an owner and a CEO, one of the biggest things that I need to be doing continually with my team, that I'm not always great at, but it's something I strive for, is clarifying the strategic vision of where it is we're going. Everybody needs to understand why their efforts matter and what they're supposed to be doing with those efforts and how that benefits them as well as the business as well as myself in the long run. It's called healthy momentum. Now, by doing that very same thing, another thing that is a byproduct of that is it will automatically dictate what your next step should be in the process. You can make all the money in the world, but the one thing that you can reinvest once it's spent is time. By doing these types of things, you're able to create more bandwidth in your day continually to allow you to do the things that you ultimately love doing. Number 4. Now, this is an important one. This is something that I did instinctually that I wasn't even thinking about a long time ago, and that is to keep your goals, your aspirations, and your outcomes directly in front of you on a daily basis. One of the easiest ways to visualize what it is you want is to actually go out and cut pictures out or print off pictures or somehow put a visual representation in somewhere in your home, your apartment, or elsewhere that you have to look at every single day. Every single day. You can't fathom how powerful it is to keep your goals, your ambitions, your aspirations, and your outcomes in front of you. And the clearer they are, image-wise, written-wise, the clearer they are, the easier they are to obtain, because each day when you go beside your mirror, which is where I kept that particular picture at, each day when you go to that mirror, you have to look at it. You also have to look at yourself. You have to ask yourself, what am I doing today to help me get today or tomorrow? What am I doing? Did I take an action today before I get ready for bed to make sure that this is going to become a reality? And I was forced to ask myself that question on a consistent basis. And as a result, it allowed me to motivate myself. All right, moving on. Number 5, strategize the steps. When you take the time to lay out your steps, it makes it easier for you every single day to wake up and actually lay out those steps and then take the steps every day consistently. Now, what happens when you don't take the step on a Wednesday and you know you should? It's fine. You get up Thursday morning, you shrug it off, and you do it again. The trick is always getting back up. Think about every Rocky Balboa movie you've ever seen, every hero movie you've ever seen. There's always a moment when that hero has been knocked down to the canvas or has been buried alive or some kind of weirdness that is supposed to suffocate them and take them out. But yet it's always the getting back up anyway that takes them to the next level, that opens up their transformation, that creates the opportunities that come down the pipeline. You need this for yourself. You need strategical steps that are clearly laid out on a regular basis that you can take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right, let's move on. Number 6. When you lay out those specific steps continually and you do them consistently, you are creating what I refer to as a reinforceable routine. The purpose of a reinforceable routine is much like the guardrails on a highway. It keeps you on the highway. The reinforceable routine protects your daily steps while also allowing you to look for the different milestones along the way that help you basically see where you're at any given moment. One of the number one reasons people give up on their dreams or ambitions or the things that they want is actually adversity, but that adversity is directly tied to whether or not they actually had a routine to keep it going. You see, the routine is what makes you do it again on a Thursday, even though you didn't do it on a Wednesday. The reality is you matter. Your dreams and ambitions matter, your aspirations matter, your impact matters, but the only way you're going to get there is through a series of various levels of testing. And the only way that you overcome the various levels of testing is to put yourself in the best possible position to overcome whatever's thrown at you. So ask yourself, how can you lay out the steps in your favor? And then what type of boundary markers can you put on the left and the right of those steps to make sure you stay on the highway? Number 7, monitor your milestones, monitor your progress, but more importantly, protect your momentum. One of the things that's going to happen as you begin to actually put this type of process or the step process into effect is all of a sudden you're going to be sent all kinds of distractions. You have to have the wherewithal to know that you have to avoid the distractions and that you have to lean into the milestone. You have to actually put your emphasis on, did I accomplish this milestone? And if I did, fantastic, you get to celebrate. If you didn't, you simply just say, okay, how can I accomplish that tomorrow? And you continually do that over and over and over again. You see, like I said, people like to overcomplicate winning at life. Or they like to think that you can just stumble into winning at life, or you stumble into wealth or healthy relationships. No, all of it takes work. All of it takes planning. All of it takes effort. But the easiest way to get there faster is by doing the daily things regularly. One of the core attributes of developing a meaningful life, a meaningful profession, a scalable business, is always comes down to the diligence in which you are pursuing it.